So what's going on, guys? We're in the middle of an in-between chapter this week. Everybody's reuniting after the arc ended and basically coming together and we all need to strive together as a group to fight off any advances on the kingdom and stuff like that after Julius ran his invasion and the other Magic Knights defended the kingdom. And we see some of the stone tablets in the background, and Julius is asking the guys about them. He goes, um, and what are these strange characters on them? What's this tablet for? I've never seen the strange characters. And then all of a sudden, enemy leader's light of brightness just spans over the entire room before he manages to recapture four of the men that were captured by Julius before disappearing. And as the light was there, Julius was like making a joke. He's like, "This guy's pretty powerful. He must be the boss." I mean, leader. Yeah. He said it something along those lines, and I thought it was pretty funny because he was referencing straight to a boss. I guess he might be maybe they've got some kind of games there. I'm not sure, but maybe he just sees battles between the kingdom as a boss fight with all the other characters being ads. If you know what that ads are, the people that spawn in beside the boss if you haven't played MMOs before. And anyway, then we got to see a dude called Marks. Apparently, he's got telepathy, sort of like Warren in Fairy Tale, so he can open up communications from the city to wherever Julius and him are, as long as Julius has never turned it off. But Julius is like, "Yeah, I've cut surveillance off. I was doing a bit of a stakeout." And he goes, "You're always doing that. You're not supposed to do that." He's like, "We've been going through a shitstorm over here." Julius is like, "Oh yeah, I know. The kingdom got invaded." Just brushing it off. He's like, "Oh, so you knew? Well, you need to come back to the hospital like now." And then we see Leopold and Fuego Leon laid out on a table, busted up and in all kinds of terrible shape. And obviously they've healed a little bit more, but they're still pretty bad off because they're laid out and knocked out on some tables. But Julius and Asta later arrived to the kingdom, and Asta's like overjoyed that he was rescued by the Sorcerer Emperor and got to see a bit of the Sorcerer Emperor's power, but he was also embarrassed that he had to be rescued by everybody. And then surprisingly, Klaus, one of the people we don't really know too much about, was actually one of the most worried about Asta, the first one to go confront him and saying, "Thank God you're alive, we're all happy." And then Noelle, Noelle is definitely a Cinder. If you don't know what a Cinder is, those are the ones that play coy like they're they didn't want you, but they actually do. Like they didn't want you to do something or along those lines. But Noelle was like, "Well, it's all your fault for running into the danger." Then a couple seconds later, Noelle runs back to him. He's like, "I'm so happy you're okay and all," but possible love interest there, which could have been expected as they were the two main characters, the boy and the girl, very similar to pretty much every other shonen, with Natsu and Luffy and um, so on and so forth. Could think of a few more examples, but that's a long way away. Anyway, Julius is surprised about Fuego. He's like, I was I was expect Fuego to be in a much worse condition to determine whether or not he would even wake up or not. I've made a grave mistake making him think that perhaps he should be thinking of someone else as the next Sorcerer Emperor, or perhaps he should have been back there because he left, Fuego Leon in control, I guess, because we didn't see anything about it, but that's what the contextual dialogue actually led to, in my opinion. But some guy pointed out that the pendant was missing off Fuego's neck, and they've started talking about the stone tablets. And the stone tablets were actually requiring a pendant engraved in this, or not engraved in, crusted in the center of each of those weird letter formations. And something powerful and something big is supposed to come out of it. They're not sure what it is yet, but the Sorcerer Emperor said, "I couldn't imagine something so powerful and something so big incoming." So, um, something to look forward to there. Maybe the Sorcerer Emperor will have to get his hands dirty again because I'm really interested in seeing some of his more prevalent powers, not just some of his capture powers. And then they're like, "Okay, now we need to go interrogate this guy," which we don't see the interrogation yet, but we know the interrogation is going to happen soon. And then everybody's reunited in the back after all the chapters pretty much done. And Nozzle, or Nozelle, however you say it, storms off during the speech. that the Sorcery Emperor is giving about everybody needing to stay together and protect the kingdom. And Nozelle's pretty pissed, and the reason why is because the teleport guy from the last arc, whatever his name is, I forget, but I'm gonna call him the teleport guy until I figure it out. But anyway, he was a young friend of Fuego, well, not Fuego's, but of Nozelle's. And then the Sorcerer Emperor makes the comment, "You may have awoken a lion and robbed the bear of his cub at the exact same time." Everybody else is like agreeing with him, not knowing exactly what they're talking about. But Nozelle is actually pretty pissed and says that he'll bury whoever put him in that state. So maybe he is actually being controlled, sort of like Raditz was earlier. Maybe all of them are being controlled. We don't know yet. But I'm not sure. The girl doesn't look like she's actually being controlled. She actually looks like she enjoys it from the enemy side. But she still could be under control, as well as two or three of the other people that actually didn't look like they were under control. But we know for a fact that Raditz is under some form of control, and potentially this guy that is friends with Nozelle is under some sort of control as well. Maybe he's fighting back against the kingdom because the kingdom did something bad to him. We're not sure about him yet. But after that we see a Leopold get up and everybody's like, "You need to get back down and rest. We're all worried about you and you need to heal up so you can be good again." And Leopold stands up, all battered and beaten and barely able to stand, and says an epic speech. He's like, um, "I need to be powerful enough to stand beside my brother and, not." Then he goes, "Wait a minute. I'm not content being in this shadow. I actually need to surpass him. And if I have to get stronger, then Asta, you as my rival, you actually have to get stronger too." And Asta's like, "I'm okay with that, but who are you?" Asta forgets who Leopold is, and he goes, "Well, I only remember people who do formal introductions." And he goes, "Well, my name is Leopold. You can call me Leo." And Asta's like, "I don't expect a noble to be so formal, but you'll be a great rival." And he's like, "I could be a asshole if you want me to, but I'm not gonna do that." So basically, we get to see Leopold come out as Asta's second rival, and along with I don't know how that's gonna play out because actually might get offended about that a bit, but I doubt it. He's probably going to welcome the competition. So we have a three-way race to become the Sorcery Emperor from the younger generation, and a few of the older generation are still striving to become the Sorcery Emperor, and some people, I believe, are more content where they're at, like the leader of um, the guild that Asta's in. I can't think of the name of it. But yeah, that's all. I'm going to give this chapter an 8 out of 10, guys. Peace.